2000, and the city of Seattle came to me because they wanted to put a photovoltaic system on their North Service Center, 97th and Stone. So this is Seattle City Light, right? It's the utility, it's owned by the city. And they needed a permit for this project. And it's like a 1 kilowatt system, like maybe it was 2, I think it was like 10 panels. And so they said, can you get us a permit? And I thought, oh, one part of the city working with another, let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya, right? How hard could this be? And they said, well, we only have $4,000 budget. I thought, I almost said, oh, we could do it for half that. And I was really glad I didn't, because we had to jump through so many hoops. I had to show they were concerned about the structure of the building being capable of holding this 400-pound solar system. And we put it on a steel I-beam that had a 4,000-pound chiller sitting on it 2 months before. And I had to show gravity loads carried down through 3 stories of commercial building. So I had to get the structural design of that building, the drawings, and show the transfer of these gravity loads all the way through the building. It was kind of crazy. And then they wanted to see engineering on the bolts and the racks. And I said, come on, it's $9,000 worth of solar panels. It's $200 for the racks. It's probably $20 for the bolts. Why would we cheap out on the bolts and racks? These things are 10 times as strong as they need to be. And they said, we want to see an engineer stamp. I said, okay, look. This same system was designed by Applied Power, which was the largest systems integration firm in the country at the time. And I said, they put this same system on mountaintops for microwave repeater stations. It's designed for 200-mile-an-hour sustained winds. It's not going to blow off the roof in Licton Springs, North Seattle. They said, we want to see an engineer stamp. I said, okay, look, if you have an engineer capable of looking at my engineer's report and understanding it, you have an engineer capable of looking at the specs on the bolts and the rack and telling you these things are 10 times as strong as they need to be. We want to see an engineer stamp. Because the building department wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be held liable if this thing blew off the roof. It took 53 hours to get a building permit for a little 2 kilowatt system. So government officials in general and people in general, most of us don't want to be first. They call that the bleeding edge, and there's reasons why. You have to make people comfortable that they're not doing something that they're going to have to pay for. Mm-hmm. They're going to get in trouble with their boss, or it's going to fall down in a few years and they're going to get sued. So our society is quite litigious, and we don't like change. We're leery of it. So after we got the permit, I went back to, I think it was Diane Barker, who was the head of residential plan review at the time, and I said, look, the mayor wants these, the city council wants these, Seattle City Light wants these. You guys are throwing up obstacles nobody is going to be able to deal with. It costs $4,000 to get a permit for a $10,000 solar system. And they said, all right, we realized that these systems don't weigh very much and they're spread out over a huge area. And I said, these systems weigh less per square foot than composition roofing. And you used to allow 3 layers. Let's come to some understanding. And she said, all right, well, we decided that any system weighing less than 500 pounds doesn't require a building permit. And I said, these systems weigh less per square foot than composition roofing. They're spread out over a huge area. How about 1,000 pounds? And she said, all right, 1,000 pounds. And I said, now, if you really want to incent this, how about an exemption from height restriction, side setback, and lot coverage? And she said, I could do that as a director's rule, couldn't I? I said, yes, you could. So Client Assistance Memo 13-2002 exempts, and now they've switched it so it's solar thermal. It's not just, I don't think you're allowed to go over the height restriction in PV anymore. Yeah, by jumping through all those hoops and proving to the building officials that this wasn't something they were going to be liable for in the future, that it made good sense, it made them comfortable, and then they even jumped on board and expanded the incentives to make it even easier.
Awesome.